What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We're back again for another round of AOR Oceania for season number 5. We're here for round number 4 here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on a weekend where it was unfortunately a very sad one, a very tragic outcome came out of it. Unfortunately, if you were watching the Belgium Grand Prix, which was happening the same time, the same weekend as Azerbaijan was, you would have seen the massive crash up the top of Radion there that involved a couple of drivers. But yeah, fortunately, it tragically came to life of young Frenchman Antoine Hubert, just 22 years of age. It's a life just taken away too soon. And look, it was put out for some of these guys and girl about what to do in honour of Antoine. As you saw then, there was a nice slap of honour there from a few of them, which was led by the Racing Points. You can see the championship standings on your screen there. I probably won't dwell on it too much. You can probably see where your favourite driver is at the current moment there. But yeah, the guys and girl obviously wanted to pay their respects, whether that was running, obviously, the helmet designs, whether it's just like a black helmet or a similar colour scheme to what Antoine Hubert was wearing in his racing career. Yeah, it was a great fitting tribute, I must say. And also, if you were watching the live stream on the YouTube channel, pretty much every single live stream on the AOR, like even Oceania, the Europeans and the Americas, everyone paid tributes with a moment's silence during the coverage. So a nice fitting tribute to a man that is just so. It's a tricky one because sure, I've sort of experienced it a little bit with what happened with Gilles Bianchi back in 2014, but this is probably the first time that I've sort of experienced this, obviously, since I've become involved in the league racing sort of side of things as well. So yeah, it was really was a tricky weekend to say the least. Anyway, so I felt a little bit sick in the gut, to be honest, about what occurred. But yeah, it's motorsport, really. Like most of the F1 drivers say, you put your life on the line every single weekend, and that's what they do. And obviously, these guys love doing their racing. So yeah, I'm not really good at tributes, this sort of thing. This is sort of a little bit new to me. So look, I might be babbling on a little bit too much there, but obviously thoughts and prayers are with Antoine's family and friends, and also big, obviously, as well. There was also another driver that was involved in that crash in Juan Manuel Correa, who thankfully the news is sort of a little bit slightly better on his behalf. Thankfully he was able to get it. He had a couple of fractures in both his legs and a minor spinal cord injury, something along those lines from what I remember.
3 kilometers per hour.
From what I remember, but yeah, it was.
Everyone ready? Okay, let's go.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky weekend all around anyway. So yeah, thoughts and prayers are definitely with Juan Manuel. Hopefully see him. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and we'll see him back on a racetrack very soon. But yeah, anyway, we'll continue on. We'll get on the side of things for qualifying. You would have seen there obviously earlier on the championship standings, but this is actually going to be my fastest run here in qualifying. I just literally made it across the finish line with just only 1 second to go. I sort of mismanaged it a little bit, you could say, the timing wise. I was really pushing the limit quite a bit because a lap time was usually about a minute. A bit under a minute 40 around here, and maybe a bit less, like a minute 38, 37 around those times. But yeah, I think I left the garage with just about 2 minutes left, and it was telling me like it was invalid time. I wouldn't get around, but I was still keen to try and get around and get a lap timing because obviously the first lap time was pretty rubbish, to be honest, around here anyway. Because Baku's it's not been my it hasn't proved well for me in the past. I think I may have only got like one podium ever around Baku. That was back in F2, I think in season 2. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, usually Azerbaijan's not really a track that most of the drivers like anyway. So, usually have it for like the full 20-round race calendar. Then the next season, where it's sort of a shortened calendar before the next game comes out, you usually don't race around here. So, yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, been since season 3. But you see we're currently improving by quite a bit. I think it's like 1.4 seconds currently up on our lap time here. So, it's definitely an improvement at the moment. We're currently in position 10 at the moment. We set a 39.7 on the first run there. Like I said, it's completely shocking. But we'll come across the line. We do improve, but I think we're actually going to jump up into position 5 after that lap time. So after that lap, I should say. So, yeah, it was a fairly decent lap, I must say. Probably not as quick as the guys a bit further up the grid, but you know, hey ho, I'll take it. It's a P5. Probably avoid all the carnage behind. We'll wait and see. But anyway, Narms is in the Red Bull, got pole position at a 37.4 ahead of Alan Hugo in third. Warden, who's racing in the Racing Point for this weekend in third, ahead of New Zealand Ryan and myself. My teammate is that Matt in position 8, and you can see all the way down the field there where your favourite driver is, and RBR didn't even set a lap time. I think he disconnected from the session there. But we had a little bit of an issue as well during qualifying, where a lobby host, New Zealand Ryan, sort of got kicked out from the lobby for just an unknown reason. So, which was very weird, to be honest. Nice game as always by Codemasters. So, we decided to do a bit of a full restart pretty much. So everyone just sort of restarted their games, and we obviously got going again with the custom grid. And yeah, let's go into racing here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Don't go overly aggressive into turn 1. There'll be a lot of heavy braking, and the cars will be extremely close together.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Welcome to the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So obviously we had to pretty much reset everything, and obviously had to load up our setups again and get on to the right tires, because I was trying to start this on the mediums and go on to the hards, but obviously qualified on the softs. So yeah, we're going to obviously do from softs to hards. Set off on the formation lap here.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. So, yeah, obviously the strategy is going to be a one-stop around here, starting on softs and going straight on to the hard tyres, barring anything if we don't lose our front ring throughout the race, which is highly likely around this street circuit of Azerbaijan, because you just make one little mistake, that concrete barrier, there's literally concrete barrier all around the circuit. It is just a waiting here at Azerbaijan. So let's see what we can do here around the streets of Baku. Haven't scored a point yet. I'd like to get the mark here. So here we go. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Baku, and it was a pretty average start, to be honest here. Ryan actually got a pretty decent jump ahead, so he's going to try to go around the outside of Alan Hugo. We were trying to hold off in the background there. I think that was always okay. We just managed to keep ahead, and to go very deep into turn 2 there, but somehow just managing to stay ahead for the time being. I think my teammate was in that battle as well, but I think he just sort of backed out of it a little bit there. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, Alan Hugo and Ryan are battling away for position 3. So, managing to get into hold on to third for the time being, and Ryan back in the 4th. I think Narms is still leading away just ahead of Warden, I think, at the current moment there. But we're still holding on to position 5 for the moment. If you probably haven't realised by now, Alan Hugo, he did race back in China when I was away. So yeah, obviously, like this is obviously my first race since I got back from this was my first race since I got back from my holiday. So yeah, very little practice, to be honest. I just wanted to really survive and just get some points really around Azerbaijan here. So now we're coming into the critical corner here into turn 15. We just run it a little bit too deep, and unfortunately we got a bit of front wing damage.
It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
You see what I mean? Literally, you just make one tiny mistake and the wall will bite you. And that's just happened for me, as the yellow flag's behind. So it looks like there's been a little bit of an issue one of the drivers back there. Not sure who's dropping back to the field. You probably can see it down there in the bottom of the mini map there. But yeah, you can go check out the live stream from China if you haven't seen it. I'll leave the link down below in the AOR YouTube channel. It looks like Ryan and Alan Hugo battling away again. This is effectively for the podium here, as we're still struggling away here with our tyres and well, not the tyres, the front wing. But I was having a look down the bottom here, and I was just double checking whether I had any fresh set of softs available, and thankfully I did. So you know, I was thinking maybe, I'm not sure about whether the one stop would get me home, get me to the end of the race. It probably would have, but I really wasn't going to risk it here, just to end up outside the points anyway. So I was like contemplating to continue on as well as long as I could here. But this is sort of the lap where I was sort of have a feeling of the car, see whether it was okay, whether I could like continue on for maybe a few more laps yet, and then do the front wing change at the first pit stop here. But running over the curve and nearly hitting the wall again. So I think at the moment, at this point, I think I was contemplating over to come into the pit lane. So I'm going to go change on to the medium tyres. I didn't make sure that the wing was changed to yes, as we just go a little bit too wide.
Recommend you box for a new one. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Now, to be fair, I probably didn't turn right at that point in time, and somehow I didn't actually end up with the wheel hanging off my car, because that would have been a big DNF around here in Azerbaijan. But thankful for that one. So anyway, we'll dive straight into the pit lane now, and pretty much go on to a two-stop strategy now till the end of this race here. So obviously changing the front wing, chucking on the medium tyres. We got those soft tyres later on if we want to have a crack at maybe the fastest lap of the race. So away we go. So we're way further behind the pack at the moment here.
Okay,
we're not
you only have to stop
actually
now. One stop left.
we're not actually in last position, because that's occupied by Death Bro, who's well and truly behind now. I think it might be him that actually got caught up in a little bit of drama here. Now he's out of the race. Looks like he's had a crash at that left-right hander, pretty much where I crashed there with the front wing damage there. But with turn 19. But here's some replays from some other guys who got on board with that laggy person in the Ferrari. He's just got past Derek Kidd there for position 8, I think it is, in this race, on lap 4 now. You see now it's slowly starting to close in here on top Banter and the Mercedes. Going to have to go a long way around here. There's a little bit of contact between here and top B, and thankfully somehow I think he managed to get away with front wing damage. How on earth he got away with no front wing damage? I got no idea, to be honest. But there's a bit of yellow flag action a bit further on ahead, so it looks like someone ahead has had a little bit of a drama as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. As yeah, that corner there at turn 15. We're discussing it before the race about what to do with the track limits, because obviously it was a big talking point back in this season 3. There's yellow flags ahead for some unknown reason anyway, but there's a couple of guys in the pit lane. I think that's Laggy and Derek Kidd are in the pit lane. So yeah, but yeah, the corner cutting issue at turn 15 was a big issue at back in season 3. Obviously, well known that I think the Williams boys were both Fens and Greekmaster were well accustomed to maybe cutting the chicane a little bit, the corner, sorry, a little bit too much. So it's a real tricky one. I mean, if you're all 4 wheels over, then you're easily going to get a penalty anyway. So that's what I told them. If you see someone gaining advantage, to take it to the stewards. But we're going to make a pass here, probably our first pass of the race here on Ikawas. To lap 7 we go here, so it moves us up into position 12. So obviously we're on the much fresher medium tyres compared to these guys, these next couple of guys, I think. So only a couple of positions away from the points here. You can see we're easily pulling away from Ikawas here, as they're starting to close in here on the McLaren in front here of, correct me, it's obviously this is a brand new driver here, so I think this is one of Ikawas' mates here. Ikawas actually messaged me about him before the race, saying, well, if we do the sign-ups, can we get him in? And I said, absolutely. And he managed to get the sign-ups in on time, so got him in for this race here. So I think it's Icarus. Don't quote me on that one. Correct me next time I do a video on this, and I'm near him probably again. So yeah, he's obviously in the McLaren. If you probably don't know this already, but KMP4 had to withdraw from the championship due to work commitments. Fortunately, he can't get out of Sundays at work. So yeah, a bit of a shame there for KMP4. It would have been nice to battle him throughout the season, but anyway, he's sort of been put back to the reserve driver. But now we finally get past Icarus on lap 8. And we now put ourselves in the P11 here. Just a little bit of a brake lock up there, and just managing to slow the car down. I don't think there was any contact between me and Icarus. If there was, I do apologise. But now we're up into position 11. Now we're chasing after legendary Conrad Strait, Steve Bingham, for the final points paying position here. And at this point in time, it was probably similar to what happened in the last lap as well. It was a bit tricky where to pass here, but you can see Conrad had a shocking run, riding over the curb too much down to turn 6 there. So we're going to have the inside here. I don't think it's really a passing spot going up into turn 7, but I made it. So anyways, and now we're back up into the points, so into position 10. Next up is my teammate, is just not far up the road here. I think he's battling away with, I think it might be Always. Good update.
Gap to the car behind is 2.1 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:45.1.
That's him keeping updated with Derek Kidd, because he's making inroads as well on those hard tyres. And I think, well, the mediums were...
dropping a second a lap to the car behind, 1 second.
The mediums didn't feel too bad at this stage. I mean, obviously, you've been on about 7 or 8 laps, I think, at this point. So, I mean, they didn't feel too bad at this point, but I knew over time that these tyres would wear out quite a bit here.
Gap to car in front is
Derek Kidd really started to catch me up a little bit. Nams is actually retired from the Grand Prix. It was a little bit weird, to say the least, because we were wondering where on earth he retired, whether it was actually in the pit lane. But
flags ahead. No overtaking.
by the looks of it, it's actually on the track here. By the looks of things, is now
the virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
I think that pretty much confirms it. There's Nams' car going up the escape road there at turn 1, so looks like he's just retired on the track.
Drop your speed, our delta
And
is too low.
obviously it brought out our the first virtual safety car for the season, I think.
We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
That was very lucky there, to be honest, because I mean I had to brake there just to get under the delta time, because otherwise I probably would have got a penalty, which I did not want. And obviously Derek Kidd had to take a little bit of ACF action there, so I do apologise to Derek for that one. But yeah, I was obviously just trying to get underneath the delta time here, but you see the speed that he's got here. So now up to obviously position 9, but you see at this point coming on to end lap 11, starting lap 12 here, you can see the overspeed here. Derek Kidd, the slipstream here is just mad around here at Azerbaijan. You can see Derek gets up into position 9. We drop back into position 10.
You're losing 2 seconds a lap to the car behind. 2 seconds.
That's obviously to that laggy person behind, who's obviously also gone onto the hard tyres here. And this is a little bit of a worrying moment here with a bit of red Xing showing on Derek Kidd, but I'm not blaming him per se with the internet connection. I think that's just me, as always. With where I live in the country, the internet's probably not as great as in the city. But anyway, we'll continue on here as Derek Kidd having a little bit of a sideways moment coming out of turn 15. I was curious whether he actually hit the wall at that point.
Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy. Your pit window opens in 2 laps' time.
Just getting an update from Jeff when the next pit stop window was, because I literally had no clue.
Gap to teammate ahead is 5.0 seconds.
When on earth I was going to pit again, because I mean it's pretty much a half race distance at this point in time. So
pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Jeff telling me obviously to come in at the end of this lap, but I mean I was trying to get onto the soft tyres to go to the end of the race, so I pretty much just told Jeff to just shut up and let me get on with the race, because like I was saying, the medium tyres, I mean, they didn't feel too bad at this stage. We're about to start lap 15 here, as I think Pomps of the Win has actually come into the pit lane. And he was doing the opposite strategy, I believe, going from hards to mediums, considering he started outside the top 10. So, yeah, I mean, just keeping an eye on the tyre wear. Like I said, it wasn't too bad. It was in the mid-50s, I think, on the rears. But yeah, it was just sort of keeping an eye on things behind. And obviously, the gap was sort of slowly coming down a little bit as well. As yellow flags behind, so Poms' name has actually popped up there. So there's been a bit of an issue behind here. So here we go on board with Poms, going down to the tricky turn 15 here. Taking a lot of curb there is Poms, and you can see on his screen, Laggy's really literally living up to his game attack. There's a little bit of a contact there, and that sends Laggy into a spin. So thankfully that Poms got out of it altogether and didn't continue driving on, because otherwise he would have just got slammed back there from Laggy, and in the end, Laggy, I think, dropped well and truly back. That was a bit of a yellow flag, but that was actually for Conrad, because he's actually now a lap down, so just pretty much just getting out of everybody's road. He doesn't want to get caught up in anybody's race, which is fair for Conrad all around there. So, yeah, but anyway, because of that battle, it actually sort of helped us out a little bit here, because the gap, like I said, the gap was sort of coming down a little bit between me and, well, Laggy at the time, and probably Poms, but now the gap sort of expanded a little bit because of that little incident there, as you saw Laggy just at the fast lap of the race, so obviously he come in, I think, pitted onto the soft tyres here, as we just get it a little bit wrong at the castle section, and I mean, that was nearly the spot where Charles Leclerc crashed earlier in the regular F1 season, but thankfully managed to just get away with it.
The car in front is 4.9 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 12 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 43.8. You're down 8/10 a lap.
Just getting an update on my teammate. He's just a bit further up the road here. I think he's about 5, nearly 6 seconds up the road here.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Taking it very, very cautiously through here, sort of. Anyway, I mean, I was trying to get back to the pit lane as quickly as I could, but I was trying to stretch out the medium tyres for as long as I could dare, and I think now it was either going to be now or the next lap anyway. So I was actually pushing for the next lap really, but with the front wing damage, I decided to sort of bail and go straight onto the soft tyres here, and maybe go try get the fastest lap of the race. See if we can grab an extra point for this race, and now getting the front wing. I think we got a big gap behind as well, because obviously Poms has gone by, takes position 9, and obviously Laggy's well and truly further behind here, so we should maintain our position 10. Yes, we do. So now plan of attack here is just go nuts here and just go for the fastest lap of the race. So probably, I don't know if I've mentioned it or not as well, but I am running a special helmet tribute as well. I probably mentioned it earlier in the recording anyway, but Laggy's now retired into the pit lane, so not been ideal for Laggy this season, so not a DNF for him. I'm not sure, but he DNF'd, or he didn't have a great race in China either, so not been ideal couple of races for Laggy here. But we'll stick aboard here, because this is actually my fastest lap of the race, and it was the fastest lap at the time, so coming into turn 2. But yeah, I ran a special tribute helmet in memory of Antoine Hubert, so obviously running it a little bit different to the normal helmet that I wear for the Alfa Romeo colours, so gone for the white and pink helmet designs. There's quite a few picture designs for the helmets that Antoine Hubert was wearing, so I decided to have a crack at this one here, the one I'm wearing, pretty much. So yeah, obviously, yeah, that's the reason why you see the helmet a little bit different here. But we're going purple at the moment through sector 1 here, so I mean, I was giving it literally my absolute haul here. Literally win it or bin it here at this point, just to get an extra point in this race. Making a nice through the castle section here, now through the twisty right left hand as I should say. Now into turns 13 and 14, which is pretty much flat through here. Through 14 now into a tricky turn 15, which has caught me out once and maybe a few other couple of times, but nicely rode over the curb there. I didn't want to really push the track limits a little bit. I tried maybe a couple of laps, but trying the track limits, but didn't seem to really affect them too much. But we go purple again through the middle sector, so looking on track at the moment here to get the fastest lap of the race for now, because it could change literally come the end of the race. I think New Zealand Ryan, the last couple of races at Bahrain and China, he's literally got the fastest lap right near the end of the race, so he's got the last 2 fastest lap of the race. That's why he's got, and probably had the extra bonus points in the championship standings. So we do get the fastest lap with a 40.601. Probably not the quickest lap around anyway, but I hope if it's worth an extra point, then I'll take it, literally. So
Okay, gap ahead is 12.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:43.2.
yeah, it's just sort of checking to see whether, you can tell from most of the team radios I've been asking, like whether anybody's had any time penalties or not, but by the looks of things, they haven't. That was a bit of a moment there for me as I get another bit of front wing damage here. So front wing number change possibly imminent for myself. That was probably a lack of concentration, that one, to be honest. I mean, there's pretty much not much going on my end really. So yeah, so I was keen at this point to just maybe just push on and just get to the end of the race. But come lap 24, coming to the literally last couple of laps here, I decided to maybe go for another pit stop here, because somehow I think I've still got another fresh set of softs up my sleeve here. So I decided, what the hell, to maybe try even better the fastest lap of the race. There's always AFK. It's in front of me here. I think she's had a moment somewhere along the way, because what I could tell from my teammate Matt, who was a bit further up the road than me, I think he was near her at the time. I think she had a little bit of a moment. Not sure exactly where, the castle section or somewhere around there, but yeah, she was looking on track for a decent points finish, but unfortunately she's dropped back all the way to P9, so I think now she's sort of battling away with me to try and get the fastest lap of the race, and that extra bonus point, which of course does count in the league races, as we get a little moment coming through the castle section again. Ken could have literally been there, binned it, but anyway, thankfully we did have a big gap behind to Kiowa, so we could easily make that pit stop here. So we're going to stick aboard here for the final lap of the Grand Prix. A lot of battling been going on ahead. I think the 2 leaders were pretty close to each other, so I actually got a bit of footage from that last lap battle from the live stream. We're going to check out just after we finish this final lap here, but no, you probably can't see it behind that new bar there on the top right. It was actually Warden that won the Grand Prix, even though it did say Warden in Ferrari, but technically he's not in Ferrari, he's actually in the Racing Point, so that was a nice little glitch there from Codemasters again. But we go green through Sector 1 there, so wasn't sure at this point whether this was going to be the fastest lap or not, but like I said, I'm giving it my absolute all here just to try and get another extra bonus point, because at the moment we're going to score our first point of the season, get another extra bonus point there, we could get 2 points on the board.
Gap to car in front is 24.6 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 1 lap old. The time last lap was a 2:07.7.
There's just an update on always to see whether she had any penalties, but unfortunately she didn't. She actually gets the fastest lap of the race, but I was just hoping that something would go my way. There's a little bit of a toe here from a Conrad. There was a little bit of a moment there through the left-right hander, but again, that might have been a bit of connection issue on my point of view. But anyway, I got a nice little slipstream here. I actually get the DRS as well, which is an added bonus, but can we get the fastest lap of the race? I don't think it's enough. No, it isn't. So come across the line in position 10.
So this is it. This is going to be the last opportunity that Warden's got diving into turn 1. So Warden, Ryan, one time that this can actually change here. Warden's got the DRS. And he's going to be catching up a lot in the slips behind the DRS. Ryan is going to stay on the race and where he's going to stay. And Warden's going to go to the inside line going into turn 1. And it looks like he's going to make the move stick. But Ryan's going to have the better exit going into turn 2. He's not going to dive one just yet, but he tries to get the best exit there, but he struggled on the exit. So now Warden is going to is going to stay ahead, but as Ryan gonna gain in a straight line. He is into turn 3. He doesn't go for the move, and this is gonna go right down to the wire across the line. It looks like. I think both of these two are gonna stay with a low ERS and use all of it onto the start-finish straight. So it's going to go right down to the wire. Alan Hugo 17 seconds behind and 8 seconds ahead of Top Banter. He's just looking at the top left-hand side of the screen to see if any of these positions will change. The current fastest lap is Roscoe Arms, so he's got the extra point, but is that going to change as Warden goes a little bit deep going into turn 12? So now Ryan's got the benefit going into turn 12 and into turn 13 for the final time. Is Ryan going to get it onto the straight, or is he going to try and dive one going into the next corner? We'll have to see as Warden locks up his tyres as well. Both of these drivers struggling for grip as they go into turn 16 for the final time. This is where it could be make or break. The best run looks like they both get decent runs here. Going into turn 17 and into turn 18. Are these two going to switch to these positions going across the line? Ryan has got the DRS on the Warden 99. 3/10 is the gap, and that gap is going to fall. DRS enabled for Ryan. Is Ryan going to get the DRS? Warden goes defensive, and they're going to be nearly side by side alongside the straight. Ryan goes across the line, and Warden doesn't get the win in Baku. 87 thousandths of a second between those two, and Warden takes home the win for Racing Points. Ryan gets second. Alan Hugo will finish in third. And what an end to the Grand Prix that was. And yeah, very fitting. Warden brings home the win for Racing Point for Hubert.
Yeah, that was just an absolute classic finish. Warden and Ryan have always had some great battles over the years, but that's probably one of the correct me, but they're probably one of the closest finishes they've probably ever had in league racing. I could be wrong, but in my time since I've been in the top tier, that's probably one of the closest finishes. But yeah, it was Warden that got the race victory there. His driver is Alan Prost, I think it is, on their screen. Is his driver on? So yeah, that was a great race nonetheless. And Warden gets the race victory in the Racing Point, and obviously racing in honour of Antoine Hubert. That's a nice, great result all around. New Zealand Ryan in second and Alan Hugo third. And you got Top Banter, pretty decent job from him in fourth, as well as Master Berserk in fifth. You got Derek Kidd sixth. My teammate is that Matt in seventh. Pomston win in eighth. Always AFK did get the extra point for the fastest lap, and myself getting the first points of the season. You got Kai was there in 11th. Conrad in Icarus in 12th. Conrad in 13th, and then Laggy. There's some others as well that were DNF'd out of the race. So championship-wise, this is what it looks like. It's 61-point advantage, I think it is, for New Zealand Ryan over NARMS. You can see where your favourite drivers are at the moment on your screen, but we'll just flick the page over in a second. There we go. So now we've scored our first point of the season. So we move up into position 14, just behind Derek Kidd, and just ahead of Brazuca, with Conrad and Kiowa bringing up the rear. Still yet to score their first points. Ferrari have got an absolute dominated lead over Racing Point. I'm not going to even tell you what the points difference is, but you see Alfa Romeo would fall back to position 8, 5 points behind Mercedes, but we've got a fair gap behind to Renault. So yeah, I mean, what a great race all round. And I must say, big thank you to the guys and girl that decided to wanted and asked to do the lap of honour in honour of Antoine Hubert. That was a really touching moment. I must congratulate them all round. Anybody that took part in that lap of honour. It was a special tribute all round for a young man who was just taken, well and truly, I'm mumbling up my words at this point, but taken well and truly too soon. And it was not going to be too far away, I don't think, for Antoine before he made it into Formula One at some stage. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say here, really. But if you enjoyed the video, I suppose if you like the video, you leave your comments down below. You can leave a tribute if you want to in honour of Antoine Hubert, and send thoughts and prayers to Juan Manuel Correa. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. We'll see him back in a car very soon. But yeah, other than that, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to the AOR YouTube channel. You probably would have seen the links, the social medias, as always, down below. You would have seen them on the top of the screen as well. So, yeah, just leave you now with the rest of the highlights. And, yeah, on a very sad weekend all around. Great racing from the top two all around. And congrats to Warden getting the win in the Racing Point. Yeah, I don't have any more words to say, really, but goodbye, and we'll see you next time for the Spanish Grand Prix of Apex Online Racing.